Discovered. Heartwarming encounter as single dad helps pregnant millionaire in tears at gas station. The gas station was buzzing, its glow a beacon on the sleepy Midwest street. Jack, a devoted single father, filled his worn-out truck, the familiar sound of gasoline pouring into the tank mingling with distant laughter. He thrived on routine. His daughter, Lily, was his world, her quick wit and laughter filling the gaps left by his wife's departure. Yet today, amidst the regulars and their chatter, something felt different. A sleek, luxurious SUV sat abandoned at the pump, its driver inside, visibly distressed. Jack noticed her immediately. Emily, an elegant woman, sat cradling her pregnant belly, tears streaming down her cheeks, contrasting sharply against her polished image. The sight hurt his heart, it awakened an innate sense of compassion. In a small town, you help each other. And despite her air of entitlement, Jack saw past it. He approached with cautious optimism. "Hey, everything okay?" he asked, a gentle sincerity in his voice. Startled, Emily looked up, startled but quickly masking her surprise with practiced poise. I just need gas," she replied, frustration lacing her tone. "My family's expecting me. This is just ugh." But their conversation sidetracked her anxiety. Jack shrugged off her initial coldness. She was human, too, navigating a mess he could only imagine. As they talked, she shared snippets of her life, her family's expectations, and her struggles with being someone they thought should be settled and perfect. Jack's no-nonsense attitude softened her demeanor, and her vulnerability peeled back layers of Jack's own buried insecurities about being a single dad living paycheck to paycheck. Joy mixed with heartache in the small space between them. Before they could delve deeper, the crowded gas station shifted around them. Regulars peered, curious about the connection that seemed to spark. Jack gritted his teeth, aware of the unspoken judgment directed her way. Here, in this tight-knit Midwest town, wealth and class created barriers, even in the face of shared humanity. As he prepared to offer further help, a text notification pinged in Emily's pocket and shattered the tender moment they both knew it was her family. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. I need to go. They don't understand," Emily stammered, her voice trembling. Jack's heart sank, an ache settling in his chest. "Can't you just?" he began, emotions rising, but he stopped short. The weight of his reality loomed. Would it become even more complicated if they pursued something? He could see the tension in her face as she wrestled with the expectations of her family that loomed large over her, the difference in their worlds impossible to miss. Just then, her phone chimed again. Emily's eyes flickered with dread as she read the ultimatum from her family: abandon this encounter, or face their wrath. Jack's resolve faded as the air thickened with unspoken words and shaky hopes. Could love blossom despite barriers, or was he destined to protect his little girl from the intricacies of a love that might tear them apart? The gas station grew quiet, tension crackling like a live wire. Would Emily choose her heart, or retreat back to the life crafted for her? Jack held his breath, sensing this could be the pivotal moment that changed everything. The silence was almost deafening. Jack glanced around, the regulars observing but quickly shuffling their gaze as if they hadn't seen anything at all. He was acutely aware that their town thrived on reputation, on the stories woven around its residents. Emily looked like she belonged to another world, one marked by perfection and privilege, yet here she was, vulnerable and exposed, her polished exterior cracking under the pressure of her family's expectations. "Emily," Jack's voice hung in the air, rich with urgency. He wanted her to stay, to break through the invisible barrier that loomed between them. But could he ask her to choose him over her family? What right did he have to make demands? What they both needed was a moment, a reprieve from reality, a chance to breathe. I'm sorry, she murmured, her fingers trembling over the phone. I really have to go. The defeat in her voice cut him deeper than he expected. Wait. He stepped closer, his heart racing. What happens if you go? His question felt like a plea, begging for clarity. The world beyond that gas station was too big and too judgmental. He feared for her, as much as for himself. She hesitated, her gaze darting from the pump to the looming family pressures. I'm supposed to be there for a dinner to announce so much is riding on that night. Forget the dinner, then, he said, his voice firm. What about what you want? The words hung in the air like a thread connecting their two worlds. Emily blinked, her blue eyes shimmering with a hint of hope. What I want, she echoed softly, uncertainty shadowing her features. Jack nodded. Yeah. Don't let them decide your life for you. You have a chance to step outside that perfect facade just for a moment. It's okay to be real. You are more than what anyone else thinks. His earnestness seemed to stir something within her. She took a deep breath, the tension in her shoulders easing slightly. But what if they don't accept me? What if they turn their backs? Jack reached out, his hand gently brushing her arm, grounding her. You'll never know unless you try. Besides, it's your life, Emily. You deserve to feel happy. His words resonated like a beacon in her haze of anxiety. For the first time, she looked less like a fragile millionaire and more like a person, someone who longed for freedom. Jack's heart raced, mirroring the conflict swirling within her. Just then, her phone buzzed again, a reminder of the world demanding her attention. Jack stepped back, sensing the moment slipping away. I won't pressure you into a decision, he said quietly. Just think about it. You're more than the title of millionaire or daughter. A flicker of a smile tugged at her lips, and for one brief, exhilarating moment, the weight of expectation lifted. I will think about it, she whispered, the bell of the gas station chiming softly in the background. Jack's heart swelled with cautious hope, but then a dark cloud settled back into the periphery of his thoughts. What if this moment faded like a mirage? Emily, he called as she turned toward the SUV, uncertainty etched on her face. You'll always have a choice. Never forget that. She paused, a long breath escaping her lips, and in that moment, Jack decided he wouldn't walk away unscathed either. Just as she hesitated, a loud honk from behind the SUV shattered the fragile calm. A sleek black sedan pulled into the gas station, filled with familiar faces that made Emily's expression fall. What if they've come to take me away? She gasped, eyes wide with panic. Shadows of a new confrontation loomed ahead. Jack felt his chest tighten. It was more than just a moment now. Something was brewing. Would her family allow for a change? He squared his shoulders, ready to face whatever came next, but deep inside, he wondered if this was the beginning of something monumental or the end of a fleeting connection. As the sedan doors swung open, revealing the figures that had haunted her decision, all Jack could do was watch. Would she step back into that life, or take a leap toward him? The air crackled with tension as the sedan doors flung open. Emily's family stepped out, their expressions as polished as their glossy car. Jack felt the weight of their presence in stark contrast to Emily's fragile state. A sharp exhale escaped her lips as her gaze swept over her parents, and Jack caught a flicker of fear in her eyes. Emily. Her mother's voice sliced through the uncertainty. It was firm and demanding. What are you doing here? I was just, Emily stammered, her composure fraying. Jack could sense the internal battle raging within her. This was not just a matter of leaving a gas station, it was a struggle for her identity. Get back in the car, her father ordered in a tone that brooked no argument. Each word was a command weighted with authority, as if they were the only ones who could determine Emily's future. Jack stepped forward, fueled by a protective instinct. She's not a child anymore, he said, surprising himself with the conviction in his voice. Emily can make her own decisions. Her mother cast a withering glance at Jack, one filled with disdain, but he stood his ground. For Emily's sake, he wouldn't buckle under the pressure. She's not like you, her mother retorted, crossing her arms and narrowing her eyes. You don't know what she's been through. She has responsibilities. Responsibilities? Jack echoed, his tone incredulous. What about her happiness? That matters too. Emily's eyes darted between Jack and her parents, searching for an ally and trying to make sense of this whirlwind. The familiar sting of tears pricked at her eyes, and she blinked hard, refusing to let them fall. Enough. Her father's voice thundered, making everyone freeze. Emily, get in the car right now. This is not a negotiation. The command hung in the air, charged with unspoken threats. Jack felt helpless as he watched the conflict unfold, afraid that every second that passed was bringing them closer to her leaving. I don't want to go, Emily finally said, her voice trembling but defiant as she stood her ground. Not like this. Her parents exchanged a glance, surprise giving way to annoyance. Jack could hardly breathe, he wanted to reach out and pull her closer, to seal this moment of courage with strength. You don't know what you want, her mother snapped, her voice dripping with disdain. You think you can play at being independent? Jack stepped forward again, this time with urgency. This isn't a game, ma am. She's not just your daughter, she's a person who deserves to choose her path. Emily's expression shifted as she absorbed his words. The warmth of his support began to spark something within her, the flicker of a defiant flame. With trembling hands, she took a step back from her parents, her eyes blazing with a mix of fear and determination. Maybe I don't have all the answers, but I know I need to find my own way. A tense silence fell. Jack's heart echoed in time with Emily's resolve, a strange tether pulling them closer, deepening the bond that had formed in the gas station's fleeting moment. But just as hope began to bloom, her mother sneered. You'll regret this. You're throwing everything away for someone who's less than you. In that moment, Jack wanted to scream. To tell them how wrong they were to gauge someone's worth by their wealth. To demonstrate that feelings can't be measured in dollars or prominence. Emily shook her head, her voice steadying. No, Mom. I'm choosing me. And that doesn't mean you have to accept it. But I need to try. Jack's heart soared with pride for her. For the first time, it felt like she was stepping into the light, but before they could continue, Emily's ring tone chirped again, and she glanced down at her phone, a reminder of a world still waiting for her return. The panic in her eyes resurfaced, mixed with the gravity of her family's disapproval. A hand gripped Jack's heart as he watched her battle within, the uncertainty of her choice looming like a black cloud around her radiant spark of courage. Time seemed to stretch as the two worlds collided, her family's expectations, pressing down like a weight, and Jack's hope, bright and eager for flight. Would she succumb to their designs or stake a claim for her own desires? Emily, he urged softly, reaching out once more, you can do this. Just breathe and hold on to your truth. But as her gaze shifted from her parents to Jack, the real question echoed in the tension-filled silence: would she choose the life waiting for her in the sedan or take a terrifying leap into the unknown with him? As her hand lingered in midair, caught between two lives, something had to break. Would it be Emily, or the chains that had bound her for so long? The answer felt just out of reach as they all held their breath, waiting for her choice. Emily's hand trembled in the air, hovering between her parents' demands and the promise of a different life with Jack. She felt the weight of their expectations crushing her spirit. Every part of her screamed to run, to leap into the unknown, but fear clawed at her, reminding her of the consequences. Mom, she finally said, her voice barely a whisper but steady, this isn't just about you. It's my life. Her father stepped forward, eyes narrowing, but Jack moved in closer, blocking the path. Jack's heart raced, a mix of anxiety and determination flooding his veins. She deserves to be free, to find herself, he said, feeling the tension like a live wire between them. Emily's breath hitched. She was caught, a puppet on strings pulled by her family, but Jack's presence felt like severing those ties. That tiny spark of rebellion flared into something more. Enough. Her father growled, but there was something softer lurking beneath that veneer of authority. Emily felt something shift in the air, a crack, a possibility. I've spent too long living for you, for your expectations. I can't do it anymore. The silence that followed was deafening. Tears streamed silently down her cheeks, a testament to the battle going on inside. She suddenly felt lighter, like a weight she had carried for so long was finally beginning to lift. Think of everything you're giving up, her mother said, voice trembling as she reached out to her, but this time, the outstretched hand felt more like a demand than an invitation. Jack squeezed Emily's hand gently, grounding her. Think about what you want, Emily. Not them. A look of resignation crossed her mother's face, pain etched in the corners of her eyes. Jack could tell this was not just an argument, it was years of family pressure collapsing in on itself. I've spent enough time choosing what I'm supposed to want, Emily said, her voice growing stronger. This is my chance to choose what I actually want. With renewed resolve, Emily stepped back from her parents. The world felt bigger somehow, the colors sharper, the air fresher. She took a breath, feeling the freedom that awaited. But as her smile broke through the tears, her phone rang again, a stark reminder of the life she was stepping away from. The vibration jolted her, creating a crack in her resolve. It was a message from someone who represented everything familiar and safe. Emily. Her mother cried out, her voice suddenly frantic. Don't be ridiculous. You can't just throw everything away. In that moment, Jack felt a wave of urgency. He could see the possibilities flashing in Emily's eyes, but also the doubt creeping back in like a thief in the night. This is about you, Em, Jack murmured, leaning closer. You don't have to answer them right now. Choose yourself first. The emotion bubbled in his chest. He wanted to tell her how much she inspired him, how brave she was for standing up to her past. Emily glanced back at her family, uncertainty flickering, then turned to Jack, where hope lingered. As she prepared to speak, the past and the future danced in a delicate balance, and he noticed her fingers trembling slightly. Would she break away and embrace an uncertain path, or would a lifetime of expectation pull her back? Emily, Jack coaxed gently. Whatever you choose, I'll be here. But just as she began to nod, the sound of screeching tires interrupted the moment. A car careened into the lot, tires squealing, and hard shadows filled the space around them. Jack's heart dropped. This could change everything. What now? He muttered under his breath, feeling the chill of impending chaos. All eyes turned to the new arrival, and the tension shifted. What are you thinking? He thought, desperate for her decision. Would Emily stand her ground, or would this unexpected interruption define her path in ways she never anticipated? The scene froze as the car door swung open, and a figure stepped out, silhouetted against the fading sunlight. The body language was tense, every step deliberate, transforming the calm into chaos. Jack's heartbeat quickened. He shifted anxiously, scanning the newcomer, trying to decipher if they were a threat or a savior. Who is that? Emily's voice broke through the haze of uncertainty, a mix of curiosity and alarm flickering in her eyes. The figure moved closer, and as they stepped into the light, Jack recognized the familiar face of Emily's older brother, Adam. Tension twisted in Jack's stomach. He had met Adam a couple of times at family gatherings, and each interaction felt loaded with the weight of expectations. Adam's mouth was set in a firm line, and understanding knitted his brows together. Emily. Adam called out, his voice rising above the restless air. What is going on here? Just give us a moment. Emily's voice came out stronger than she felt. She instinctively moved an inch closer to Jack, as if planting her feet into the ground would somehow ground her tumultuous emotions. Jack's heart surged with admiration. She was standing her ground despite the tempest surrounding her. But as Adam stormed toward them, he couldn't help but feel the pressure build. Mom and Dad are worried sick. You can't just bail on them like this. Emily looked at him, her eyes filling with a mix of anger and hurt. Adam, this isn't about them. This is my life. Yet the words felt heavy, an echo of her internal conflict. Jack felt the urge to step forward, to defend Emily against her family's encroaching expectations, but he stayed silent. He was still trying to read the dynamics of this family, hoping that Emily would find her voice above the swirling chaos. Do you really think running away will solve anything? Adam challenged, arms crossed tightly before him, clearly skeptical about her decision to pursue this undefined future with Jack. Emily's heartbeat quickened, and for a moment, Jack could see the flickering flame of doubt reignite within her. I'm not running away. I'm trying to find what makes me happy. But the weight of Adam's words, of the expectations they held, hung heavily in the air. Jack wanted to pull Emily away from all of it, to whisk her off to a place where none of their worries could follow, where the life she dreamed of was real and waiting. But the roar of a distant engine brought an unexpected sense of urgency. They weren't alone. Jack glanced toward the entrance of the parking lot and spotted another vehicle pulling in. A sleek black SUV that belonged to the family, a symbol of the world that Emily was trying to escape. Talk to me. Adam pressed, his tone frantic. Just as the SUV came to a halt, the door swung open again, and another figure emerged. This time it was their mother, her expression frantic and pleading. The sight brought a chill to Emily's spine, the inevitability of confrontation looming. Emily, we can't lose you, her mother called, desperation lacing her words. As the reality of their presence hit her, Emily felt the weight crush back down. The comfort she found in Jack's hand began to slip, and the pull of her family tugged her in the opposite direction. Jack's pulse raced. Choose, Emily, he whispered, leaning closer as fear and determination mingled in his heart. Internal conflict roiled within her, and for the first time, he wasn't sure where she would land. Would she embrace the chaos of her family or choose the uncertainty he represented? But the answers felt distant as the scene unfolded, a duel between the comfort of a known life and the spark of a dream. He needed her to realize that sometimes, the hardest choice held the greatest reward. Please, just think about what you want, Jack implored, but as new shadows joined the fray, the moment grew heavier than either of them expected. With each step that her brother and mother took, the chasm between the choices widened. The weight of expectations pressed down hard. Would Emily find the clarity she needed to break free, or would the pull of loyalty and fear anchor her in place? The moment hung suspended in the air, waiting for her decision, just as new voices emerged from the other side of the opening vehicle door. In that instant, Jack knew everything was on the verge of changing once again. Emily's gaze flicked from her brother's stern face to her mother's worried expression, and her heart raced. Three figures loomed over her, each representing a part of her life that felt both comforting and suffocating. Adam, with his fierce loyalty to family. Their mother, the embodiment of care and expectation. And then there was Jack. Her pulse quickened at the thought of him, standing beside her, offering a glimpse of freedom. What do you want from me? Emily's voice trembled, her frustration bubbling to the surface. This was more than a simple choice. It felt like a tug-of-war between love and fear, between dreams and reality. Just listen to reason, Adam said, stepping closer, his voice softening just a little. We only want what's best for you. Best for me or best for you? Emily shot back, her confidence rising. Jack's heart leaped. He could see the fire sparking in her eyes. It was the same fire that had drawn him to her. This isn't just about today. It's about the future. Their mother stepped forward, her voice steady but shaking slightly. You have responsibilities. We all do. You can't just run away from them. Do you think I don't feel that weight? Emily's voice cracked, an ache coursing through her. I'm stuck in this maze of your expectations, and I'm lost. I don't want to be a ghost in my own life. The honesty in her words struck a chord. Jack wanted to reach out, to pull her close, to whisper that she could be whoever she wanted to be. But even as he stood beside her, he felt a distance growing. The SUV's engine was still running, a reminder of the world outside this moment, a world that didn't seem to allow dreams to flourish. Then silence fell, heavy and thick, as the weight of Emily's confession lingered. Jack's eyes darted between Emily and her family, searching for a way to cut through the tension. "Emily," he said softly, "think about what makes you happy. You deserve to live for yourself, not just the rest of us." The rawness of his voice hung in the air. Her parents exchanged glances, unease flickering across their faces. All their love and concern felt like an ocean, and they were drowning. "Jack," she murmured, her eyes searching his. "But what if you fail? What if you don't?" He interjected, feeling urgency swell inside him. "Life is about trying, not just succeeding. You can take that leap." In that moment, the quiet conviction in Jack's voice surged through her. She brought her hands to her chest, feeling the rhythm of her heart. What did she want? She had always felt the pull toward a path different from what was laid out for her, but had she dared to be brave enough to choose it? Footsteps echoed from behind the SUV, breaking the charged silence. Jack glanced over, and anxiety pierced through him once again. A third figure emerged, blonde hair gleaming under the fading sun. It was Emily's father, his expression unreadable. His entry shifted the dynamics, and all eyes turned to him, folding Emily's looming decision into something even more complex. "Emily, I've been looking for you," he said, his voice low but firm. The air felt heavier still, and Jack held his breath, awaiting her response. Would this be another voice of authority, another hindrance, or something more? The moment had twisted on its hinges, and Emily stood at the threshold of revelation. "Are you really going to let them decide for you?" Jack whispered, his heart pounding as he waited for her to take a step toward her own destiny. She hesitated, caught between the crushing weight of expectation and the bittersweet taste of freedom. What would she choose? In that heartbeat lingering in the air, a truth would be unwrapped, a choice made, and lives changed forever. Emily's mind raced as her father's presence filled the space, casting a heavy shadow over the charged atmosphere. She read the concern etched on his face, the way it mirrored her mother's. It wasn't just about her anymore, it was about expectations, legacies, and their hopes all woven together. "Dad, I need you to understand," she started, her voice quivering slightly, but as she looked into his piercing blue eyes, she felt that familiar knot in her stomach tighten. "Emily, please listen," he interrupted, his tone calm yet firm. "Running away won't solve anything. Your mother and I have worked so hard to make sure you have a future. You can't throw that all away in a moment of frustration." She flinched at his words, feeling the sting. Was it really throwing everything away? Or was it simply choosing a different path? Jack stepped forward, willing to confront the father. "Sir, it's not about abandoning anything. It's about embracing who Emily wants to be." Emily felt warmth spread through her. She appreciated his unwavering support, but she could feel the tension thickening. Her father turned his attention to Jack, annoyance creeping into his expression. "I think you should leave this to the adults," he replied sharply, eyes narrowing. Jack didn't back down. "Your daughter isn't a pawn in a game. She has dreams of her own." The implication of Jack's words pierced through Emily, igniting a spark inside her. Did her father see her that way? Was she merely fulfilling the roles handed to her since childhood? She clenched her fists, feeling a surge of resolve building. "Dad, Mom, I get it. You love me, but..." She struggled to articulate her feelings, her throat tight, yet she pressed onward. "I need to live my life for me. I want to explore, to take risks, to find out who I am beyond your shadow." Silence enveloped them, a collective inhale as her words sank in. She could feel the vulnerability whispering in her heart, a delicate dance between fear and liberation. Slowly, her father's expression softened, but the protective walls he had built remained firm. "But what if you make the wrong choice?" he asked, the worry palpable in his voice. "What if I don't?" Emily countered, heart racing. "What if staying in this safe bubble suffocates me instead?" Jack glanced at her, a proud smile creeping onto his face as if she had just won a battle. "Emily, think of your future," her mother urged, her voice trembling. "It's all we ever wanted for you to have a stable life. Stability at the cost of my happiness?" Emily shot back, emotions erupting. "Is that really love?" The storm of words hung in the air like smoke, heavy and dense. The conflicting emotions, the pleadings of family, were colliding with her deepest desires, crashing into one another like waves in a restless ocean. She inhaled deeply, letting the moment wash over her. Could she still find a way to honor her family while carving her path? Jack reached for her hand, his grip steady and reassuring. "You're not alone in this, Em," he murmured. "Whatever you choose, I've got your back." Emily squeezed his hand, grounding herself in the reality of his presence. It was a lifeline as terrifying as it was thrilling. As she looked back at her parents, their faces a tapestry of emotion, confusion, fear, love, she felt her heart racing, an electric pulse fueling her courage. "I'll figure it out," she declared, her voice gaining strength. "But it has to be on my terms." Her father's expression shifted, uncertainty dawning on him even as he wrestled with his protective instincts. Emily felt the air change, as if the world had shifted just slightly, inviting possibilities. "So, what happens now?" she asked, breathless with a mix of anticipation and fear. Just then, a horn blared from the road as another car passed, and all heads turned. The moment had a newfound energy, a weight pressing down to be answered, and an uneasy silence followed. And in that silence, embracing the unknown felt like the most exhilarating and terrifying choice of all. Emily stood firmly, a question lingering in the back of her mind. Could she truly rewrite the narrative written for her? And who would she become if she did? Emily's mind spun, caught between the weight of her family's expectations and the fierce desire for autonomy. Jack's solid presence beside her felt like a precious gift amidst the chaos. They stood together, a small island of resolve. The silence pressed in, her heartbeat drummed a rapid rhythm, each thump a tiny rebellion against the rules she had known. Her father rubbed his temples, the telltale sign of mounting frustration. "Emily, I just don't want you to look back one day and regret the choices you make now." His voice trembled slightly, uncharacteristic of the stoic man she had grown up with. "Dad, if I don't take those steps now, I fear I will regret that more than anything else," she replied, heat rising in her cheeks. He took a deep breath, attempting to rein in his emotions. "You think this is easy for me? I just want what's best for you." As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the living room, Emily sensed time slipping through her fingers. "It's not your best for me, Dad," she whispered, "it's yours." A flicker of realization crossed her father's face. The arguments, the heated exchanges, they had all blurred under the strain of protecting her. Did he even see her? The thought was like a sudden chill. Jack quietly interjected, "Mr. Matthews, I understand your fears. But growing up also means making mistakes and learning from them. Emily deserves the chance to navigate her own life." Her father's glare could have cut glass, but Jack held firm, unyielding. In that moment, Emily was swept up by a surge of gratitude. Jack's bravery, his willingness to stand against the tide, made her heart swell. "Just promise me this," Emily said, looking her father in the eye. "If I stumble, help me up when I fall instead of pushing me down harder." The silence was heavy again, but this time it felt different, more like a shared breath than an impasse. Her father opened his mouth to speak, but the words failed him. He looked to her mother, who wore a pained expression, torn between her daughter's boldness and the fear of the unknown. "Maybe we should all take a break," her mother finally offered, her voice a gentle balm. "Let us think this through, get some fresh air." Emily took a step toward the door, her heart racing with the thought of freedom. "I think I need to get out of here," she said softly. "To breathe, to think. It doesn't mean I'm running away." Jack nodded, his gaze steady and supportive. "We can go for a drive. Just the two of us, wherever you want." Relief flooded through her. It felt like a small rebellion, a bold assertion of her independence whether or not her parents understood. She turned her back on the suffocating weight of their expectations and stepped into the light, a hesitant smile creeping onto her lips. As they slid into the car, the engine roared to life, carrying with it the weight of hope and uncertainty. She looked at Jack, who was clearly excited about the adventure ahead. "Where to?" he asked with a grin, his eyes sparkling with mischief. "Anywhere but here," she laughed, the nervous tension melting away. The roads unfurled before them like a blank canvas, and Emily felt exhilarated, unsure of what lay ahead but knowing it was hers to discover. Could she really navigate this new direction? But as they drove deeper into the unknown, a sudden thought came to her. What if her choices led her to a place she had never imagined? In that moment, an unmarked car entered her line of sight, closely trailing them. Her heart raced, an unsettling sense of déjà vu gripped her. Was it just paranoia, or was someone watching her? Emily's stomach churned as questions buzzed in her mind. What could possibly be waiting for her on this newly forged path? Emily tried to shake off the feeling that prickled at the back of her neck. She glanced at Jack, who seemed blissfully unaware of the tension coiling in her stomach. His eyes were fixed on the road ahead, but she could see the flicker of excitement in his features, his grip on the steering wheel firm and reassuring. "Hey, you okay?" Jack asked, breaking into her thoughts. "You seem a little distracted." "It's nothing," she replied, too quickly. "Just thinking." "About what?" He shot her a look, half teasing, half serious. She hesitated, knowing she should confide her worries but also wanting to keep the momentum of their escape going. "Just the drive. Freedom, you know." "Yeah, freedom." Jack smiled, his enthusiasm infectious. "Think of the adventures we could have. Just us. No plans, no parents telling us what to do." The car sped past open fields and small towns, the sun dipping lower on the horizon, casting a golden hue over everything. For a moment, their laughter and shared stories drowned out her mounting anxiety. But the nagging presence of that car lingered in her mind like a shadow. Finally, she allowed herself to glance in the rearview mirror again. The unmarked car was still there, its headlights a cold pinprick in the evening light. Her breath caught. "Jack, what's up?" He followed her gaze, turning serious instantly. "There's a car, behind us. I think it's been following for a while now." He watched for a moment, brow furrowing as he settled into contemplation. "Do you want me to pull over? We could confront them if it's really bothering you." "No." Panic laced her words. "I don't want to give them reason to." Okay. Just stay calm. Let us keep driving for now, yeah." Emily nodded, her heart pounding as they continued down the winding road. With every turn, each glance back at the rearview mirror resurfaced whispers of doubt. What if this was more than mere coincidence? Jack turned on the radio, attempting to lighten the atmosphere. A familiar song filled the car, and she found herself humming along, trying to distract herself from the growing sense of dread, but the unease roiled in her stomach, twisting and turning. The more they drove, the more the scenery faded into an all-consuming blur, the trails of her thoughts merging with the asphalt beneath a dangerous intersection of anxiety and hope. "Let's try that diner up ahead. I could really go for a milkshake," Jack said, breaking through her spiraling thoughts. "Yeah, sure," she replied, forcing her lips to curve into a smile. As they approached the diner, the place looked almost frozen in time, neon lights flickering, a couple of vintage cars parked outside. It felt so inviting, a peaceful intermission in their current chaos. They pulled into a spot, and Emily felt a wave of relief wash over her. This was a break, a moment to breathe, but still, that nagging thought lingered. Jack took her hand as they walked inside, grounding her with comfort just as the pit of worry gripped her again. "You okay? You look pale." "I'm fine," she insisted, searching for the normalcy of the moment to wash over her. "Just a little tired." The diner was bustling, with laughter and chatter filling the air. The overwhelming normalcy was almost a balm for her anxious soul, but in the back of her mind, the weight of that car lingered. Just then, the door swung open with a clatter, and her heart dropped. A tall figure stood at the entrance, scanning the room. The eyes seemed to land on her. Each second stretched as she held her breath, feeling vulnerable under scrutiny. What if they found her here? Jack squeezed her hand tighter, confusion creasing his brow as he followed her gaze. Emily. She stood frozen, trapped between the desire to run and the hope she wouldn't have to. But before she could react, the figure moved closer, and as they came into focus, Emily's breath hitched. It was someone she knew, a face from her past, someone she never expected to see. Emily. They called out, a mix of surprise and something darker hidden beneath. Her heart raced in response to the unexpected recognition. Had she left behind her past, only to have it catch up with her on this very road? As uncertain thoughts swirled, she realized one critical truth: she had just stepped into a new chapter, one that could change everything. But the question loomed heavy in her mind: would it pull her under or elevate her higher? Jack felt the tremor in Emily's hand, a signal that echoed the turbulence swirling within them both. With every clattering footstep of the figure approaching the diner, Emily's anxiety rippled through the air, palpable and charged. Jack's protective instincts kicked in. He stood taller, ready to shield her from whatever emotional burden this newcomer carried. The figure's face emerged from the shadows, revealing none other than Olivia, Emily's childhood friend. Her once bright eyes were clouded with something darker now. Emily. Olivia's voice was cautious, laced with an edge of disbelief. Olivia. Emily breathed, caught somewhere between relief and fear. The overwhelming wave of nostalgia crashed into her, unlocking memories and confidence that she had tucked away. Why are you here? Olivia asked, tension radiating off her frame. Jack watched as Emily's posture shifted, an unmistakable blend of defiance and vulnerability. I'm here because I'm figuring my life out, Emily responded, her voice steadier than she felt. It's complicated. Complicated? Your family has been worried. They sent me to find you. Olivia threw her hands up, frustration etched on her face. You can't just run away from them. They care about you. Jack stepped forward, ready to interject, but Emily held him back with a look. This was her moment, her battle to fight. I'm not running away, Olivia. I'm trying to find myself something I've never been allowed to do before. I'm tired of living for everyone's expectations, even yours. Olivia faltered, the accusations fading as she stared at Emily, searching for the girl she once knew. But what if you regret it? She asked, vulnerability seeping into her voice. What if I don't? Emily shot back, fierce determination burning in her eyes. I can't stay trapped. I need to remember who I am. Jack felt a stirring of hope, watching the beautiful transformation unfold before him. Just like that, Emily wasn't just a victim of her circumstances anymore. She was a woman reclaiming her narrative, inch by precious inch. I was worried about you, Olivia sighed, her walls beginning to crack. Things are different at home. We all feel the strain. Strain that I've felt for too long, Emily replied softly, but with undeniable strength. I want to carve my own path. And it may not match anyone's expectations, but it's my choice. I just had to find the courage to say it out loud. A shared silence lingered, the weight of honesty bridging their complicated friendship. Maybe we all could be free, Olivia said quietly. But the world outside our little bubble, but the world is out there waiting for us to live in it, Emily interrupted, her eyes locking on Jack. And I'm not alone anymore. Jack's heart soared. In that moment, he leaned in closer, ready to stand with Emily against all odds. That's right, he murmured, grounding her resolve. You have friends, you have me. Choose this moment, choose what makes you happy. Suddenly, Emily's phone buzzed wildly, the sound breaking the fragile peace once more. Jack felt a tinge of worry cross her features as she glanced down. "It's my parents," she whispered, glancing hesitantly at Olivia. They're trying to get a hold of me." "Don't let them control your choices," Jack urged, sensing the fear returning to her expression. "You've already taken a bold step. You can silence the noise and follow your heart." After a brief breath, Emily held the phone tightly, her knuckles white with tension. "I can't keep running from them," she murmured, almost to herself. "But I need space to breathe." After deliberation, Emily pressed the button, ending the call, a realization washing over her. The sunlight streaming through the diner's window felt warm and liberating. "Now's the time for you, Emily." Jack's fervent insistence reignited the spark that flickered inside her. Stepping towards Olivia, she extended her hand, a silent invitation for understanding. "I need to discover who I am. The girl I once was and the woman I'm becoming need to coexist." Olivia studied her for a long moment before nodding, gratitude pooling in her eyes. "You're right. I think I needed this, too." Jack felt a swell of pride at their words, their connection a mix of friendship and shared courage. The diner around them, its clinking plates, the murmurs of strangers made the moment feel electric with possibility. As they stood there, a small island of self-discovery and support amidst the chaos, Jack thought to himself about how far they'd come. "Ready to explore what's next?" he asked, a smile spreading across his face. Emily looked between Jack and Olivia, hope brightening her features. "Yes. Whatever awaits, I'm ready." With her hand in Jack's and her heart open to the future, they stepped into a world colored with possibility. The road ahead was uncharted, but Em felt alive, wholly in charge of her own life. And as they exited the diner, sunlight bathed their path, illuminating the choices that lay before them, each one a testament to true freedom, shaped by the courage to embrace the unknown. Now it's time for you to step into your own moment. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this inspiring ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear about transformation and courage. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Real fans understand the importance of these actions.